Hello everybody and welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, broadcasting via Link to the Past Randomizer Crosskeys Tournament 2021. We have Swiss Round 5 for you today. It's Tam versus Orange. Commentating for us, we have the amazing Ampharos and Tyler W, and tracking is Professor Pixie and Toffile. Say hello everybody.
Hello, everybody. I think we have a pretty exciting matchup tonight. This is a 3-1 match, so we're not looking at elimination for either player, but certainly a win is very important as the cut for bracket's going to get really contested the next couple weeks. Both these players are definitely going to want to stay ahead of that.
Indeed. Just looking at some of the names up there on the top, it's like, oh boy, we're getting some elite people up there.
Yeah, for anyone who's not familiar with how the cut for this is going to go, anyone who over our 8-week Swiss manages to go undefeated or lose only one game makes the bracket guaranteed. And we're going to have a very contentious play-in for everyone at 2 wins. About half those players are going to make the bracket. Lose 3 or more times, you're out of there.
Which is sad because there's probably going to be some great players that go with 3 losses in here, but still.
But yeah, both these players already sitting at 1 loss can stay in the green zone for avoiding the play-in with a win, but neither face elimination with a loss.
We're just going to have some fun.
And I don't exactly know enough about these players to give some detailed pregame about what I expect for their early plays, etc. Though I do know both these players are pretty technically sound, so I would expect throughout the run for them to do a lot of the things you generally expect of strong players, as you would expect from 3-1 players.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I recognize the names, but I don't recognize what they're going to do. But knowing where they're at in the brackets right now, or the Swiss rounds, excuse me, this should be a very good matchup.
And we, of course, do apologize for the little bit of a delay for the people who are watching the schedule. We had just some last-minute technical difficulties on someone's side or another, forced us to push things back an hour, but we're here and we're excited to get this one running as soon as the runners are.
All right, the countdown has begun. And let's go!
Looks like we have 2 Link's House starters here. Getting a 3-pack of bombs. Like, low-key, that's one of the very best things you can find in the first chest in this game. Just makes all the routing easier.
Indeed, exploding blueberries.
Very strangely, neither checks the entrance south of Link's House of those bombs, despite both of them walking south. I don't understand at all why you wouldn't check that. Maybe just weren't thinking of it, but either way, we're going to check the potion shop. This is probably the somewhat popular opener you see. You check the potion shop, you fake flipper again, you hula hand, and things happen.
Woo! Ice Palace right off the bat.
Honestly, that's a pretty good thing to see there, because you know where it is. It's really likely you have to find it eventually, but it's not somewhere you are going to want to deal with early.
Yeah.
So you're not really stranding anything too bad at the potion shop entrance while you're still gaining valuable intel on the seed.
All right, and the Lost Witch just has a map to Hyrule Castle. Great. One of the best maps in the game.
And of course, as expected, we see the hula hand play from both players. Tam just a little bit ahead of Orange, but not by too much for an hour or a minute 48 into the race.
No, but I do, and it's consistent just because you know you're going to get 200 rubies. You don't have to orphan the bottle check or anything of that nature over in Kakariko. And you can buy bombs too if you don't find them.
Yeah, that's somewhat less of a concern, starting with the 3-pack. That'll usually last you a good bit until you find some, though we see a bit of divergence here. Tam going and checking the castle. Another one of those pretty safe, consistent plays. Heavily rewarded with the glove.
Yeah.
Whereas Orange is taking the fairly stable route to go to CAC from the south. You often get bombs doing that. Again, somewhat less value with that free 3-pack, but it's a route he chose.
And gets rewarded with the back of desert down there.
While Tam gets the really nice little bit of luck that Uncle tunnels vanilla, it's often a really annoying time loss to walk around to check whatever's in this drop down from the other side to get the item, but Uncle saves you the inconvenience.
Indeed, especially when it's only 20 rubies.
And Tam gets kind of further rewarded for his routing divergence here. He discovers sanctuaries in the Lost Woods. With the glove already in his possession, he'll be able to route in the DM entrance pretty naturally, check what's in the sanctuary, and everything's just going to kind of loop together very cleanly for Tam. Orange is still doing okay. Yeah. He's just going to clear out CAC kind of traditionally. How well or poorly that works out for him is largely going to be dictated by what's in CAC, which is a mystery we will soon unfold.
Tam does get half magic back there. I like that early game.
Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of extra juice on it. We've already seen Ice Palace. If we find a Fire Rod, that half magic is going to be a pretty significant asset for doing extremely low % Ice Palace. Okay, Hookshot Cave up in the Lost Woods. I totally agree. I'm glad. Tam's like, I'm glad I know it's there. I'll be back considerably later.
Very considerably, but we found the Cane of Samaria.
Oh, what do you know? I have any involvement with the seed? Ganon's behind Aga 1. It's just how it seems to go. I really like finding this cave Tam just found from this side, because you get 2 chests, you get a full fill up on magic if you need it, and you get a knowledge of a connector that's useless later.
That's true.
So there's a lot of residual time saved to finding this cave that Tam just cleared out. Oh man.
Oh boy.
Leads to Laser Bridge. And that's actually, depending on how Orange routes, that could be really inconvenient. Because it's really likely Orange will be in this area before finding the glove at Hyrule Castle. And if that occurs, he's going to potentially take a while to find the Laser Bridge. Though it doesn't look like so far he's going to be punished too much for not doing Laser Bridge right away. So that's a plus for him.
Yeah, doesn't look like anything at all. It's back there.
Yeah, though I guess the other side of it is that Tam doesn't have the red cane yet, so he can't continue for the 5th chest. Now, you might not even necessarily want to do that this early, but it'd be nice to have the option.
Yeah, options are always good.
We see this glove also paying off with the well, while Tam just gets a GT small key out of his drop down. CAC, other than the Cane of Samaria, has been fairly empty. That really raises a lot of questions about which directions the seed is going to take us, because that's a pretty large percentage of the Light World entrances that are just not given a whole lot to go off of.
Oh, and we already found the Titansmiths and the Flippers.
Worth noting, those are glove lock gloves, so Tam will have to go to the castle before he can get any gloves at all confirmed.
Yup.
Now, in fairness, Orange is probably not going to put off the castle for super long. Because if he's like me, he's not going to check the Sanctuary drop down, not having a glove. So he'll want to check the Uncle drop down, and that'll just sort it out for him pretty smoothly.
Yeah, well.
It's really kind of interesting to see what he's going to do after walking into Sank from the front door here, and how he's going to handle that routing.
Going right in for it.
Yeah, that's a good sign. If he saves and quits to Link's house and checks the castle area right afterwards, everything's just going to work out pretty smoothly for Orange, I think. If he saves and quits back to Sank and continues in the woods, the routing could get a little more awkward for him.
Yeah, it looks like they're saving and quitting, so.
Looks like he's going for the woods, so this could put off him finding those flippers and those mitts. The mitts aren't really that bad of an item not to have early. The flippers might be missed. You saw that hesitation. Orange might have just been taking notes, but I almost wonder if he was thinking about doing Hookshot Cave, thought better of it, and moved on.
Yeah, who knows where that's going to place you out in the world of Spick still.
But we haven't seen a ton of viable connectors. Oh, Tam got snitched on.
Oh, the snitch.
But yeah, we're relatively low on connectors we've seen. Hookshot Cave and Desert Main are the only two options we've encountered so far. So both players are probably thinking a little bit about when they want to explore those, see if they maybe can get dumped up on the mountain. And yeah, we're kind of in a little bit of an early game step retracing. Tam doesn't really have anything else left to find in CAC, he just doesn't know it yet. While Orange is getting the disappointment of learning that the well is glove locked.
And it will probably be very disappointed once the glove is found. It's like, oh, dang.
Now, the question here is he going to head up to the castle, or is he going to head toward the eastern area? Looks like he's picking the eastern area. Which, to be fair, there's a really good chance there is valuable progression in this direction. We just know there's also valuable progression in the choice he did not make.
Yeah, we're still early in the seed. Anything can still happen, so...
Sword on the island, that's definitely something you file away in your memory for later.
Put that right back there in the back of the file.
We already know where flippers are. That's part of the puzzle to get that. Oh, there's our friend Misery Meyer. Right in, right out.
Yeah.
Come back later with hookshot or boots.
True, but still, easy accessible. It's like, okay, that at least got that part.
It's also worth noting we aren't really finding much in the way of dungeons we can do anything with. Here's the left door desert, so desert as a connector just got that much less spicy.
Still, though, the right side could have some fun.
Oh, hammer on porch. I'm looking forward to them finding boots, using it to pick up the hammer, thinking that's going to open the seat up, and they really needed the boots to go into mire. I think that we all know it's going to happen. Let's just accept it now.
Accept it.
Oh, there's an interesting connector Tam just found. He's at the top of the castle.
Ooh,
really
I like that one.
Unfortunate for Orange, he wasn't the one to find it, because that would have led him straight to his glove.
Yeah.
Also unfortunate, I guess, because there was nothing up there.
That is true.
Which connector was it that led up there, by the way? Was that Hookshot Cave or is that Desert Right?
I was not paying attention, so I didn't see.
Oh, the Fairy Ascent connector. I guess we did see that one. I wasn't paying good enough attention. Tam going real magic conservative with his cane strats here, but it works.
Whatever floats your boat.
And Orange is finally going to get his glove. I have to imagine he goes straight back to well. It's just too much value at this point in the game.
Yeah, I got to think that as well. Oh, Aga 1 Tower is pretty close by, too.
Well, we know we had to find it.
At some point, it was just... I was hoping for... It was up on Death Mountain or something.
Oh, our 5 item caves are rotating around. Here's Blind's basement at Mini Moldorm. First big key of the seed, and it's pod. We already have a pod small key as well. One more pod small key, and finding pod, we can get a very large percentage of the chest in there. And our first GT, or Castle Tower small key. Everyone's favorite items are Castle Tower small keys when you have to have them. So many people in chat pointed out, fairly accurately, how artful Tam's laser skips are. Let's see if Orange's is artful.
I already can tell you it's more artful than mine.
I think Tam was a little faster, but honestly, these are still quite good. You're not going to lose a race with that kind of laser skip.
Nope.
And Orange is continuing deeper into Turtle Rock here. He actually can go all the way to the Chomp Chest if he wants to. But at a minimum, he's going to get this 5th chest that Tam's routing did not allow him to get here. If this is important, this could be a big moment for Orange. It was not important, and Orange is not interested in continuing. I really can't blame him. You'd feel a lot of pressure to kill the Pokey with the red cane, which is not a fast play to make. Also not a safe play to make.
Especially when you're only on, what, 4 or 5 hearts?
Yeah, he'd already taken a couple hits, too. Inevitable ones to things like the fire bar. So that would have been a don't get hit or you die fight.
Ooh,
well, we know Hookshot Cave isn't a very important connector this seed.
Only we'll want it for those 4 chests in there.
So we've done a pretty good job ruling out a lot of connectors so far. Still a little thin on progression. Why, no, I don't think finding Mimic Cave down in the Ice Rod Cave area is annoying at all. Why do you ask?
Well, you see, I was getting on that one. I have no clue.
Oh, Desert Right, man.
These are just ugly connectors.
Like, how often do you have all 3 desert entrances in Sphere Zero? All 4, actually. Desert
yeah.
is also in Sphere Zero.
This is like one of, like, I can maybe count like 2.
This is actually going to work out really smooth for Tam's routing, though, and he doesn't even know it, because he's going to get dumped out at Sahas from Desert Left, and he hasn't been to the eastern area yet.
It's like, score! Okay, there's a good connector. Maybe when we find something else.
Yeah, logically that entrance does absolutely nothing for you, but practically if you get a mirror, it does a whole lot for you. Also worth noting that heading toward the desert area, Orange is checking, I think, our last obvious Sphere Zero entrances. I would put good odds on that spiral cave going somewhere interesting.
So would I.
Given that Orange didn't save and quit out of that storyteller, I'm going to guess that he feels the same way I do. He's almost inevitably going right back for Spiral Cave.
Yeah, this one's got to either lead up into the mountain or it's going to be some bunny shenanigans.
Could also just be an interesting progression item in Spiral Cave that's on the table.
Oh, did forget about that one. Yeah, one chest back here.
We do still have the waterfall entrance that I suspect Tam's going to be giving us shortly, as well as King Zora and Zora Ledge. Well, this connector isn't great from Orange, but the big key to Ice Palace, it's one of those items you can't do anything with, but you definitely are thinking about it the moment you see it.
And yeah, I'll be like, Yeah, I think the play now is either up at King Zora or even technically the second chest up in Aga's Tower.
Yeah, though that's obviously not in logic 'cause we don't have a lamp, but...
Oh, that's right, I forgot. Never mind.
Yeah, going up into the Zora area definitely seems to be what the seed is suggesting. There may be some other possibilities remaining. They're just not occurring to me right now.
Neither here, so that's why.
I guess, honestly, Chomp Room is in logic. If you can use, also, alternatively, you could use Turtle Rock as a connector. Go out the Eye Laser's middle door.
Oh, you could, yeah.
So those are possibilities. I guarantee both runners are checking the Zora area before testing those out.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to check.
Ooh, that's a rough death for Tam.
Yeah, ouch.
Like, he doesn't... We know that that connector is useless, but he doesn't know that, and he's low on possibilities. If Zora River's the answer, he's probably okay, but he might go back through that connector before playing in Turtle Rock more.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, though. Well, Tam just found a sick kid, so once we find a bottle. Oh boy, did you see that on the ledge?
Yeah, that's a hook shot. Hook shot is... It does a lot. The 4 items in Hook Shot Cave, access to Mire. Hook shot's pretty important.
Scamfish doing what he does well.
To answer a question from chat, no, we have not found the way up to Death Mountain. We're very limited right now. We still do have the play into Turtle Rock going deep. I guess that's not in logic because of no lamp, though. Or if there's just a moon pearl.
That.
And we've seen a connector into Dark World. There's a flute. The world's over now.
Oh boy, there it was.
Clearly, the next logical step is the southeast part of Dark Death Mountain using the flute, the mitts, and the pearl together.
Indeed.
And both players are making this play at approximately the same time. I think both have pretty much done all the same checks and have all the same information. The biggest difference is that Tam did not see that Spiral Cave dumps you out in the shopping mall. But given that we have conventional Dark World access anyway with just the mids and the Village of Outcasts, that shouldn't be significant.
No, but still. It's that one connector you're just like, where did that lead?
I mean, it's really likely Tam discovers where that connector goes by lifting the rock on the other side.
Alright, well, our first foray into Dark World, it will be into Skull Woods.
Yeah, this is a pretty easily defensible play. You are forced to orphan the big chest. You may or may not have that annoying Trollwoods layout, but with Kane, it's quick. You get a small key, which could come in a lot of handy later, and you get some easy checks out of the way. And what do you know? We have Trollwoods on our hands. Looks like Tam is pretty committed to clearing out Skull Woods, while Orange is choosing to prioritize Death Mountain instead. Which totally makes sense. You get a third save and quit point from this maneuver. Looks like that wasn't the dark room Orange was looking for.
And finding their third small pod key.
Hey, you're never sad to see more pod keys.
And I'm not saying I'm bad about it, I'm just saying, we found a third one, woohoo!
And Tam doesn't want to play the 1 out of 3 game that there's an escape to Skull Woods. Tam instead is just like, you know, save and quit, use the flute, a lot more work to do elsewhere in the world.
Indeed, there's a whole mountain to explore.
The first thing to learn on the mountain is that that is not the Old Man Cave. It is a different dark cave. I think it's always just disorienting to enter a dark cave on West Light Death Mountain and it's not the Old Man.
Probably.
I mean, I just know for me, I always just kind of start navigating like it is the Old Man, and then I have this sort of awkward moment when I discover it isn't. The odds are certainly very stacked. The first dark cave you enter in this area will be the Old Man.
That's true.
Orange was really thinking about buying some bomb capacity. He came to the unfortunate realization that the money just isn't there.
We're tight today. A stabby stab! Alright, a little bit more better offense.
Given that we were doing all our fighting up to this point with the hookshot and the red cane, that's going to help out a little bit. The other side, did Tam get lost in a dark room?
I think so.
That's not something you see very often at this level, but I will say, one of the hallmarks of a good player that I think is really easy to overlook is realizing when you've made a bad mistake and just cutting your losses and minimizing the time loss.
It's true. Because it's easy to get turned around, especially from I know from experience, and I still do it.
Oh, we have a connector to the Maya region that is of no logical consequence.
Yeah, because we could have flown it over there if we really wanted to, but...
I'll just say, as a dev for this randomizer, I'm continually surprised at how often there is a connector to the Maya region, despite there only being 4 entrances to this area and no need whatsoever for a connector to exist.
Yeah, true. Blue goo in a bottle.
It is our first bottle. I think we've already seen Sit Kid, but that's just how the rando goes.
Yeah, we've seen him. He's up at the waterfall.
To answer the question, yes, all the entrances are placed before any of the items are placed by the algorithm. So the layout of the entrances is completely agnostic of any item layouts. Oh, what do you know? Another pod small key. That particular entrance at the very southernmost point of West Dark Death Mountain is conventionally considered a pretty bad entrance. I don't think either of these players are going to put it off, but it can be really easy to put that off for a very long time.
Yeah, that's true.
On Orange's end, we're getting our first look at the Eastern Mountain, starting with a decision. Do you explore this connector? With Flute and Hookshot and already having to walk all this way to see the item, it's a little tempting, but Orange says no.
Yeah, there's still like, what, 4 or 5 other entrances over here that are accessible.
Yeah, this is one of the cases where mitts really matter, because you can actually check the bottom of Fairy Ascent right on your way. Didn't end up being important, but it was checkable.
Ooh, okay. Back at Skull Woods.
Now, this is a little bit of a mercy to Orange based on what we've seen so far that he's probably not going to realize. Tam already picked up the small key to Skullwoods from doing front of Skull to facilitate beating this as soon as it's found, but we haven't found a fire source, so that's going to end up being irrelevant. Looks like Orange has just joined team pick up freestanding pieces of heart when you're right next to them.
Why not? I do it.
From what I've seen, it's about 50-50 in the community. Half the players do it, half of them don't. Amazingly, it often doesn't even matter if your health's high or low. It's just kind of a personality thing. Okay, that's a funny connector. I appreciate that connector. Looks like Tan nice. Right back for Sick Kid. Bit of an interesting decision. We'll see how well it pays off. Certainly it's something that's easy to put off for a very long time.
Yeah.
Oh, just what we were looking for. Another pod small key.
I know! Boy, this seed gets better and better!
So, at this point, if I'm Tam, sitting on a pod big and 5 pod smalls, I am just so suspicious of the Palace of Darkness. I don't know where it is, but I'm really suspicious of it, and I really want to find it.
Yeah, I can't wait for it either, but knowing that it's still not completable without those boots because the hammer lock.
Well, in a somewhat remarkable turn of events, there's the second Castle Tower small key in Thieves Town. So somehow Ganon is behind Aga 1, and the Castle Tower small keys were pretty free. That never happens.
Yeah, what's up with that game?
Oh, that's a pretty good place back of Old Man spat Orange out. It's
Yeah,
a very
okay.
centralized location in Northwest Dark World. Oh look, Tam's on team don't pick up freestanding pieces of heart.
Woohoo! There we go, the 50-50. Ooh, there's that mushroom.
Up on the buffer cave. It's pretty interesting, I'd say. We've already seen the potion shop, so you're not in too big of a hurry. It's interesting.
Tiny bit spicy.
Tam's gonna find the same A+ connector that Orange did earlier.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, the only thing that does for us right now is the desert main entrance, and there's still just so much of Dark World accessible. Basically all of it.
Yeah,
but that could be the answer. It's possible.
You never know with Crosskeys.
Looks like Orange is about to go down that same Skullwoods rabbit hole that Tam took care of earlier. Gonna put Orange on the lots of pod small keys train at least.
Now to only find it.
In fairness, we still haven't seen a majority of the main Dark World entrances. Nothing in Village of Outcast, nothing in South Dark World, nothing in East Dark World. We even still have an entrance left in the shopping mall.
Actually, there's still a ton of places it can be that we have access to right now.
Ooh. That's, Did Orange walk out that door? Maybe he did and I didn't notice it, but Tam just discovered that the old man leads to Hera.
Yeah, Orange just walked out of it, and they know that it's up there, but only once.
Okay, that's pretty interesting for a couple of reasons. For one, if we get another sword, that's the Ether Monolith. For two, if we get the boots, we can use the hammer to reach the summit of East Light Mountain. There's a couple more entrances for us.
That is true.
I gotta say, the way these two players route, there's been a lot of just sort of back and forth following in each other's footsteps. Orange is just going to rule out the Ether Monolith right away. Can't say I really blame him. And I don't think we're going to come back for those arrows.
Nope. Alright, let's see what the Village of Outcasts holds for us today. Okay, well there's that other connector for Spectacle Rock.
Yep, Orange just was given another opportunity to resolve where that goes and made the same decision not to resolve it. Who knows, maybe we'll find the last entrance to that connector and just never fool with any of it.
Exactly.
Though we have so many must connects left, it probably leads to one of them. Doesn't have to be one of the useful ones of them, it could be like Desert Right, but probably one of the must connects.
Yeah.
Hera big key, always nice to see, no big chest left behind.
And Ice Arcade doing nothing for us today.
This is always the part where I do a quick rupee check. They really do have 80 rupees. Yes, they do. Comfortably.
Oh, speaking of Hera.
Well, we're about to get our first information on what's a pendant or crystal this seed, because I don't see any world in which both players don't clear out Hera right here and now.
Yeah, you're going to get the big key, or Tam's going to get it here soon. We're trying to set up the Hera pot here for Orange.
Second try, I think, still saves time, so that's pretty good.
It does. All for more blueberries.
Hey, you get your bombs back you used a Hera pot.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be coming in here expecting any progression items. If you look, but you don't expect them. What you're hoping for here is a crystal. Honestly, even if it's a pendant, if it's the green one, you haven't seen Sahas yet, it's still efficient. Orange playing fast and dangerous with Moldorm, but works out in the end, does not fall.
Oh, it's worth it.
You don't even feel bad about the red pendant, you just got a mirror.
That's going to help so much right now.
That also puts a pretty large percentage of the remaining entrances into logic. So the odds that you can access the Palace of Darkness have gotten very high. Not sure where the pod key that Tam has and Orange doesn't have is.
I can't remember. I think there's one check that he's done that they've done that Orange hasn't. I just can't remember what it was.
Well, one check Tam did that Orange didn't is checking what's below Moldorm. It turns out, time loss.
Oh man, my favorite check!
Mirror immediately leads to Dam, which always really nice to get out of the way. Be able to check the Drain Dam item when doing South Dark World.
Oh, doesn't get the portal clip. That's okay though. Let's go digging.
That was an unfavorably large number of digs.
Yeah, and just for only $50.
I have no idea what the actual item at Race Game was, but clearly Orange doesn't believe it was important. I'll believe him.
Oh, it was 20 rubies. I remember that.
That probably qualifies as not very important.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I like the routing awareness here. Return the Smith, do South Dark World checks with Smith in tow. Get really frustrated when you run into the front of the old man cave.
Ooh, but they're keysmiths today.
We haven't seen the Turtle Rock Big Chest entrance, so that's pretty nice to see right here.
Ooh, but good thing also remember the purple chest.
Yeah, and realistically, you're only checking one entrance before you're going to return the purple chest, and that entrance is going to be the South of Grove entrance right here. I swear I've seen this be front of Old Man obnoxiously many times. Today it's just a chess game, no item, but at least the troll situation avoided itself. For anyone who's not aware, if you walk into the front of the Old Man Cave with a follower, and having the purple chest anywhere on the overworld counts as a follower, then it deletes your follower. And it's very annoying. And it's really unlikely. You basically just have to risk it to route efficiently, but it's so annoying.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. I've never done that before, says who?
I wonder if Orange is going to check what's at Bamos here as well. It's certainly a possible check.
Yeah, when else are you going to route it in, basically?
And yeah, once again, we're seeing pretty identical routing decisions from both players. Orange is just a little ahead in the routing, but I do believe Tam has done a little more elsewhere.
Ooh, oh, that could be spicy.
That's a really annoying place for that to be, because you really don't want to go back for that. You probably don't need that, but maybe you need that.
Yeah, but we do know where a second sword is.
Yeah, that second sword will route in real naturally, just sort of as you finish this arc of the world.
But still, you just don't want to go back there. And it's like, oh, man.
Oh, speaking of things you don't want to go back for, Skull Big Key. Now, right now you're thinking, just please don't let that gate fire rod, because you can check the back of Skull entrance with that efficiently later, unless it gates fire rod.
Oh boy, you really hope it doesn't.
Orange making the somewhat unusual decision to check the poultry at the portrait. A lot of players probably aren't aware that that portrait in that random house is a poultry.
I had no idea until today, honestly. Ooh, but a Hyrule Castle entrance.
Yeah, this is kind of doubly spicy as you get 4 items. Both these players, I have every confidence, can easily handle the Dark Cross check, even with it flagged as Dark World. And you get 2 connectors, and we have a lot of must connects left on the table.
Yeah. Ooh, the other king.
Hey, all the nothing we got on Laser Bridge is now in Logic.
Woohoo!
I always prefer Mirror Shield to put it in Logic, but you know, you gotta take what you can get.
Logic, Smoggit, who knows?
Are you telling me you don't spend all your days and nights wondering what all the incredible utility you could garner out of a Mirror Shield is?
Well, I have had a couple nights, but then and I need some sleep. Because I sit up all night just staring at my wall and say, how can I use that Mirror Shield more effectively?
So to explain the logic point for at least one person wondering in chat, possibly several people wondering, the situation is that the non-entrance randomizer has 2 different logic modes. It has this weird beginner mode that requires like a ton of swords and weapons to do any boss, and then it has advanced mode that requires fire rod and some dark rooms, has laser skips and logic, etc. Crosskeys just has one logic for everyone, and it's somewhere in between, generally closer to the advanced logic. But a lot of it also kind of makes sense. It's not necessarily fair to force everyone who wants to finish a Crosskey seed to be able to do 3-heart laser skips. You're probably not going to have 3 hearts outside of entrance when you get to Turtle Rock Laser Bridge. But in entrance, it's pretty likely.
Blue goo.
And yeah, it is a notable decision that Orange made here not to check the remaining castle entrances. I really understand the thinking. You know this sword is right here, you really want it. There's a lot of other entrances you want to check as well. But it's really hard to say whether you'll be punished for this or not. It's not a quick trip back to Hyrule Castle until we get our hammer.
Yeah, now the question is, in my mind, is where are them boots? Alright, Dark Shopping Mall, what you got?
I gotta say that Orange is probably not super thrilled about making the trip back here for one entrance and finding a fortune teller. Specifically the Dark World fortune teller.
Woo! I predict that you shall not be happy. I shall now run for the hills.
Looks like Tam also elected against checking the other Hyrule Castle entrances. I get it, but I hope these players don't regret it.
Same here, but
I mean, who am I kidding? I don't care if they regret it. They can regret it all they want.
Third sword!
Another interesting call. Orange is not checking the tile room. Honestly, I have to imagine that's just an oversight.
Yeah, I gotta think so. Or it could be deliberate. They're leaving.
Maybe you can justify that routing decision if you're like, you know, I'll come back for North of Graveyard later, and then I can just go right back into GT then with more items. And even if I'm running out of options, I just check tile room then. I'm in no hurry to wait on tiles. You can justify it. I don't love it, but you can justify it.
Yeah, that's true. You got a point there.
Tam discovering the total lack of punishment for the death in Spiral Cave. That's one of those just huge sigh of relief moments. Oh, there was that last pod, Small Key, with the sick kid.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. There it was. You're right.
I mean, the logic in this seed to clarify what's going on is really simple. Our runners have a bunch of items, and they're all in logic. We haven't sequence broken anything of note.
Yeah, that's like a first in, like, a long time for me? Oh, by the
I
way,
hope this
happy
is
1
the
hour.
6 pod small. Please be it. Ah,
No.
Hera Basement. That's like the anti-pod Small Key.
Ooh, Orange gonna go see the top of Hyrule Castle shops.
Oh man, what's Orange going to do without those 20 rupees from Tile Room? That's going to be pretty rough.
I know, just that the 20 rupees can mean the difference between having bombs and no bombs. I mean, they could have bought 2 hearts too with it.
This is actually another pretty good check for Orange, just a bit of sigh of relief in the sense that Orange now knows this Fairy Ascension connector is completely useless. To clarify what logic means, it's actually a pretty good point to explain. We should probably explain it more on these streams.
Yeah.
So the randomizer has a particular algorithm by which it places the items with a bunch of rules that guarantee the seed is possible to beat. But the rules are actually stricter than what advanced runners with all their tricks and shenanigans are able to do to beat the game. So items are in logic if we have found them in a way that the game guarantees you're able to do. Sometimes you get things out of logic if you do tricks that are more advanced than the randomizer's item placement expects you to do. Obvious examples of out-of-logic tricks, like doing dark rooms without the lamp, or hovering with the boots.
Oh, that's a good connector there. I like that one.
This is a very good find. Both players probably had some thought of going back for the entrance we've seen, but just finding another Paradox Cave entrance is even better yet.
There's your 6 spot!
Also our gold sword, for anyone who values that. I like having the gold sword. Man, just imagine a world where you have every key to Pod, including the big key, and you haven't seen Pod.
Oh, the anxiety would kill me.
The sort of doubly weird thing about it is even when we find Pod, we don't have any of the actual items for it. We have no lamp, we have no bow. We know where the hammer is, but we can't pick it up without the boots.
Oh, but here may be a chance. Mini Moldorm Cave.
Well, there's
I'm
the
accepting
bow,
this.
the most important item for clearing out Pod. We get a Swamp Key care package with both the small and the big. Unlike most dungeons, the small being much more valued than the big here. Not a lot else going on. We also have a... Worth noting, there's a disaster scenario for Tam on the table here. If the second chest in Swamp is critical progression leading to the hammer, including but not limited to it being the boots directly, that is a Tam disaster scenario right there.
Yeah, it is. Oh, good heaven, Thomas! Vanilla! Oh man, chat, you called it!
We already had 2 blue potions. We wouldn't have had trouble checking the items behind the mimics anyway, but hey, save your potions. There's a whole lot in logic in here.
I think just about everything. No, the base room is not in logic. But you're right. There's quite a few things
Everything
in.
that's not behind lamp is in logic, is basically what it is. And these players aren't really going to be that worried about the lamp. If you never find the lamp, it's kind of whatever. So we're going to check 13 of the 14 chests in this dungeon right now.
Let's do it.
If you thought the only thing this seed needed was more bees, then so far Pod has helped you out.
Buzz, buzz, buzz.
Worth noting that it is guaranteed that this will not be a single dip Pod. We've already seen the hammer on Desert Torch, so there is no scenario in which either player can beat the boss on this trip.
But I would find it extremely funny if the boots were in here.
Now, if that happens, it's not that bad, because Desert Left is at Sahas. You just mirror out, go over to Sahas, pick up your hammer, and come right back in.
That's true. So actually, Right, I want to laugh and be like, ha ha, nice!
Somewhat unsurprisingly for all the pod keys we got, there wasn't really much up front. Bombos was really the only spicy find. Or not Bombos, Quake. Yeah, one of those medallions. But...
1 coin.
with all these keys, like, you gotta think the back's gonna have some value here.
Yeah.
Meyer small key, not particularly high on the value scale.
But you'll take it.
GT small key, also not very high on the value scale. I missed the left chest in the basement, or the right chest in the basement. The left one was a piece of heart.
Same on the left side, or the other side.
Getting a help out, or a helping hand from the restreamer here. They are both pieces of heart. Those are probably not progression items. Oh, imagine not having to do the hammer jump in pod because you just have all 6 small keys on your first trip.
Wow, there's a luxury.
I was like not paying attention and didn't see the bottom chest in Dark Maze.
$20.
Well, I could have kept not paying attention, didn't miss anything.
Nope.
Somehow there was nothing in pod. The odds that Quake is required are really pretty low. We already know it's not used to enter the Meyer entrance. It could be the Turtle Rock medallion, but it's a 1 in 3.
Wow, you find everything and then it baits you until you get the hammer.
But yeah, Orange is definitely making the play I would consider the next logical play of just heading over and checking these mirror entrances around the Meyer Desert area.
Yeah, pretty good routing there.
Looks like that super accessible back of desert is the green pendant. You hate to see it, but it's the life we're gonna live.
But we did find the big key, though, to, wasn't it desert? Yes, no, maybe so.
That was the
maybe...
Thieves big we just
That's
found.
right, sorry, my bad, I can read. English is good.
Now, that's kind of interesting because the Thieves small key is logically available at the Bombos monolith, so 3 of the 4 checks in the back of Thieves are in logic. If you want to just go back to Thieves and skip the big chest, you just do it, because you know you aren't going to find the hammer in there.
It's true.
Orange taking the slightly slower but slightly easier mirror route into Desert Main by going from the front instead of the back.
And only find a fairy for his jumps.
You really gotta think the boots probably show up soon just because of how much the hammer opens up to these players.
Yeah, it's gotta be incoming soon.
The Lumberjack House is probably not going to contain any interesting progression for either runner.
Oh, man.
Looks like Orange is gonna check the final Paradox Cave connector. Very sensible play. Pretty good odds this leads to a useful connector on East Dark Death Mountain, either the floating island or the middle bridge. Well,
Nope.
that both doesn't advance you and makes a different unchecked connector a lot less valuable than it was before.
Yippee! I like this play by Orange, going back into Mire.
Yeah. I don't know. At this point, I feel like there's really 3 principal plays Orange had, and Tam's going to be confronted with the same decision very briefly. Mire is one of them, Thieves is the second, and going back to the castle and just checking the connectors is the third, because it's really likely that gets you more entrances.
Ooh, very true. I forgot about that other side of the castle, those other 2 entrances over there.
The upside of Mire here is that it's by far the fastest overworld trip. The downside is you really are leaving a lot behind here. Of course, Tam still can check what's behind the shovel, which is a pretty easy to make play. If that's important, that's a big deal for Tam, because Orange has more or less completely orphaned the North of Grave check, though Orange also still has the GT tile room, so that's a little bit of a duo.
Oh, the swag net! Yeah! Oh, never mind.
I mean, we know we have to fight Aga 1 this seed. Come on. To answer the question, once you use the flute to summon the bird, you're unable to pick up items off the ground, so you do that, and then you can just walk right through the item that you dig up from the dig spot. Kind of a little trick that saves no time whatsoever, but lets you taunt items that you don't value.
Okay, both runners making the check to Thieves Town.
It's worth noting that Orange has been just a step ahead in the main progression of Tam for a majority of the seed, but by both players making the Thieves' choice here, they are pretty much deadlocked. If this is the answer and we later have more stuff to do Mire, this is just pure time game for Tam.
Yeah, the question just will be, if it does, what will we need it to be?
Obviously, the boots are the item that would do the most for us. A fire rod would also be quite significant, letting us go down the right side of GT, among other things. So I guess we only have 2 GT smalls, so we're a little short in that regard.
But still, it could lead us to something else big.
To answer the now irrelevant hypothetical, once I'm this far in Thieves Town, I would finish it no matter what I find. Even if it is the boots and I know I'm committing to orphaning the big chest. I'm just gonna live the life. The big chest is nothing important. If it is, sucks to be me.
Yeah, and even if it is something important, you know where the small key is.
And look at Orange much earlier in the seed being on pickup freestanding pieces of heart paying off. Getting that crucial full life refill. So crucial when you already have a red mail on, right?
So very crucial. I mean, that one extra quarter piece of heart.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain both players did check the Bombos monolith. It was just really natural to route in when turning in the purple chest. Well, the good news is we got a crystal. The bad news is everything else we got.
Indeed. I was like, ugh.
So, we're once again very low on options. That deeper dive into Turtle Rock is on the table, but again, not logical without the lamp. There's Skullwood's big chest, always a trolley possibility. Hyrule Castle as a connector certainly seems like the most likely way forward.
Yeah, I think Hyrule Castle is the next play here.
I don't remember offhand what is down here in the Ice Rod Cave area that Orange would be returning for, but I'm sure we'll learn soon enough. Oh, Orange is going to save Scum Desert Right, knowing it's a pendant. That's honestly a pretty heads-up play, in my opinion. Because you know this is a pendant, if you find really any value at all on the right side, you can keep it with confidence.
I said that's a nice one!
I'm keeping that Ice Rod.
Yeah, that's worth a save, Scum, I think.
Yeah, because the only way you really regret that is if your last pendant is Turtle Rock, and simultaneously either Landmo or the green pendant item is something else required. The odds are just so low that you get that
I'll play
double
those odds.
Like, if it's only one or the other, like, even if the green pendant's important, as long as Turtle Rock's a crystal, which it probably is, we know 2 of the pendants, you needed that anyway.
It's true.
So, we're gonna get another big answer here. Orange is about to find Swamp Palace, one of those little extra thoroughness checks that Tam made and Orange didn't, which is the reason Orange is a small amount ahead here. We don't know the second chest in Swamp. If it's important progression, that's real bad news for Tam.
Let's just see how unlucky, or maybe lucky, Tam got.
Somehow I think Tam's gonna do fine without that Meyer small key.
Yeah, I think so too.
And we have another connector that we weren't considering. This bumper cave connector is now traversable. I don't think we've seen the other end of it, and we did pick up the cape.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the other end either. Oh, but it's useless.
Well, we hadn't seen it. Like, at this point, it's nearly guaranteed that at least one of the Hyrule Castle entrances that we haven't seen leads to more entrances. Orange choosing to be the guy who picks up the bug net. It's a life you live.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's entirely possible that Tam might just finish Castle Tower totally in the dark here. So, this is out of logic. The game will give you a lamp before forcing you to do this. Depending on who you ask, this may or may not be hard. This can pay off big. That Bombos medallion in the dark is already really interesting. That lets us into Ice Palace. Out of logic Ice Palace without the hammer feels real bad. But all your options feel kind of bad now. You gotta be thinking about it. Oh, speaking of connectors, we have this connector that Orange left behind much earlier. I think Tam also left this connector behind. We don't know where this drop goes.
That's right, we don't know the drop. We saw the other side of it, but we don't know the drop. You're right.
Orange showing exactly how far out of his way he's willing to go to pick up a freestanding piece of heart. Earlier, he wasn't willing to walk around the room for it, but if he's already walking right by it, he'll take it.
Okay, that's a good connector to find.
Yep, this is 3 new entrances for Orange. That one is useless. On Tam's end, Dark Castle Tower went off basically without a hitch. This isn't really going to lead to any meaningful progression, but this was required to beat the seeds, so works out pretty well. Also, is a route back into the Dark World. Well, those entrances were quite useless. I still think it's going to be the castle going to the Death Mountain floating island that's going to move us forward this seed. Mostly because I'm not rich on ideas of what else we're going to be looking to do here.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on this one.
A connector to the floating island is 3 more entrances itself. 4 if we're able to get into the Turtle Rock entrance. And while Orange is doing spicy plays, backtracking through Turtle Rock, Tam is watching a cutscene. A very long cutscene that is a variable length seed to seed.
How long it'll be, nobody knows.
When people are making fun of bad Zelda bosses, why do they make fun of the fish from Link's Awakening and not Aga 1?
That is a very good question. But in any case, Aga 1 down.
Well,
okay.
He found the mushroom. That's probably not going to lead to the lamp. Note I say probably not, because there are still ways it could.
And that weird convoluted way where if you have to go X, Y, Z, then you get A.
I mean, it could just be the Turtle Rock big chest is led to from the floating island. You get 2 from the castle. That'd be not that convoluted.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Oh good, the 4th bottle. Even better, it comes with more bees. You know, since Orange picked up the bug net, he has a lot more opportunities to use and reuse the bees than Tam has.
And that'll get him far.
I mean, I often find enemies that I don't think my gold sword's quite up to snuff for this fight, but if I deploy the bees strategically, maybe I can make it through.
Well, there's the small key to Desert Palace.
Wow. Orange is making a very bold play here, and going all the way out the front of Turtle Rock. This is a dangerous play because this risks making another Turtle Rock small key your go mode. But there are 3 more to find, and if this connector is a big time saver, maybe it's worth it. Well, speaking of dangerous plays, Tams just says, you know, screw it to logic. I'm just doing Ice Palace, no hammer, whatever. This is the most item-dense location I have left. Doesn't require a huge backtrack. Let's just see what happens.
Because who knows?
This does feel a little extra bad, not just no hammer, but also no small keys.
Ooh, we're going to see what the mushroom gave us today.
Well, Orange, being ever the humanitarian, decides that all bees deserve freedom. Yeah, kind of the bad thing for Tam here is Tam's going to have to double dip Ice Palace, because there will be no escape from this next check here. Unless it is an Ice Palace small key. But of course it isn't.
It's just a map to it.
Yeah, kind of an interesting split, the difference there. I actually don't hate that. Checking the fast checks in Ice, but not committing to the deep dive.
Yeah, I still think you're right that Hyrule Castle is the play here.
Well, just about our only other in-logic check was just ruled out by Orange, and is about to be ruled out by Tam. And we're getting a ped check.
Alright.
You're an hour 30 in, near last location, and you're reading the pedestal. Doesn't feel great.
And it's just a map.
But hey, after you get all the pendants, you can use that map to learn what the remaining pendants and crystals are.
It is true. Well, an hour 30 into the seed, and I had to first off give a shout out to our trackers, because without them, who knows where we would even be at this point. Big thanks to Professor Pixie and to Top File for that help.
Yeah, I think I could safely say that Orange and Tam would know where we are, but no one else would.
Okay, Orange going back to check tile room.
Yeah, this is a big old waste of time. Kind of the double feels bad about this is there's really no way to route to Hyrule Castle from GT here. And Tam likewise is going to check the second chest in a swamp. Not going to be rewarded here. But Tam at least has a shorter route back to the castle, being on, well, it's just really a shorter walk is all it is.
Yeah, there's nothing fancy or schmancy about any of this.
Though I think both players are realizing that the whole point is irrelevant, because the smartest thing to do next is flute anyway. Tam committing to Logic Smogic and doing another Dark Connector without the lamp. This is almost assuredly the Death Mountain exit cave. Very cleanly done, very unrewarding.
Yeah.
Hey, rules out Super Bomb.
That does, you're right.
Are we getting a mutual screen stare? I think we did.
I think we did too. Like, what did we miss?
Orange is at least kind of on the right track with the cursor hovering over 3. That is where you need to flute. Hey, we're streaming Nintendo games. We all know the life. Sometimes the princess is just in another castle.
Story of my life. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I think this is actually last location for Orange, whereas Tam's... Well, a last location other than some out-of-logic stuff like that Dark Connector Tam just did. But Tam has this extra out-of-logic play of going backward through Turtle Rock. Not going to lead to anything but time loss. Kind of related... Is Magic Bat the drop behind clearing Castle... or clearing Ganon's Tower?
Yep.
Yeah, because I was thinking that Orange did not fake powder when he had the opportunity, but obviously there is no opportunity if that is where the Magic Bat is.
And there it is, the floating island.
Yeah, and there's really no risk in dropping here without checking the last castle connector. There's literally nowhere it could go that would be relevant at this point. And oh,
right.
what a non-surprise! Hype Cave, the lamp!
And that's it!
So... that lamp puts climbing GT into logic. And I think that's the only thing it does.
Oh, there's the other exit to Hyrule Castle!
Oh yeah, Hera Basement. Excellent point from Haiku Type. Hera Basement is in logic with that lamp.
Ah.
Left side Meyer is logically behind all 3 Meyer small keys, and we only have 2 of them. It might be a good play to make with Lamp, but it's not what the logic wants. And I gotta say, I 100% agree with Orange clearing Castle Tower upon finding this lamp. Orange still has the second chest in here. And actually,
Yeah.
Vamos, Deep Ice Palace is also on the table. That's a big question. Would you go to the deepest part of Ice Palace here, or would you climb Ganon's Tower? Remembering only the top 2 of the chests in the GT Climb are in Logic, but you can get all 4, you have enough keys to do so.
I think I do the Ice Palace play here.
It's also kind of asymmetric, too, because Tam's already cleared a bunch of checks in Ice Palace, whereas Orange has all of them remaining. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them make different decisions. Though Orange obviously first needs to actually make it to the lamp.
I think you mean Tam, because Orange has the lamp.
Yeah.
You know,
Tam at this point is kind of lost.
The lamp is in Hype Cave, which you needed to use to connect with Hyrule Castle to get there.
This is also a really dangerous situation for Tam because the static time of just climbing Castle Tower, which is a very slow thing to do, was Tam's really only remaining edge in this seed. So if Tam doesn't get on track and make it to what we know to be last location soon, then Orange is just going to start working on a lead. I'm going to be honest, I didn't count how many blue balls Aghanim shot before. I'm probably not going to count here either. But a thing about the randomizer that is good to know is that it is guaranteed it will be equivalent. No one is going to gain or lose time fighting Aga 1, other than the frames from lag that you can work on if you really want to. And our tracker, Professor Pixie, pointing out, accurately, we have still not seen Eastern Palace, and indeed, it's really low on locations. Like, it's gotta be the Meyer TR entrance, right? Or it could be our third pendant, and it could be in the Ganon's Tower entrance.
Could be.
I think those are, or it could be in the back of Skull entrance, or it could be in one of the 2 hammer-locked entrances in the Village of Outcasts, and I think that's it.
Either way, we need basically the hammer to access it.
Oh yeah, we have 4 boots entrances. That minor detail.
Oh yeah, the Bonk Rocks. And others. Oh, 4 blue balls. Just so you know. Oh, 3? Oh, I miscounted one then.
I didn't see if Tam set up a save scum for when this connector inevitably leads to nothing.
Alright, here comes the ice play.
Yeah, unlike Tam, who just checked the shallow checks and left, I would be shocked if Orange didn't get every chest possible in here. Gonna be facing the same sort of dilemma where if you do Icebreaker, you get stuck because you have no Ice Palace small keys and no hammer to pick up the static key. You can choose in that situation to just not do Icebreaker and approach that room from the other side, but the downside of that is you won't get the chest that is the vanilla big key, which is totally out of logic, but it's a chest you mechanically can get right now.
There's Tam picking up their fire rod. Oh, not fire rod, excuse me, ice rod.
And yeah, once again, we're in that same situation where Orange knows that this will not be a dungeon clear on this trip because the hammer's on Desert Torch. Even if the boots are in here and thus you effectively get hammer from this trip, you're not actually going to be able to finish ice on this dive no matter what. Now, we see Tam coming back here. This could be really good for Tam, because if this is the answer, then Tam never needs to find the way back up to boots. Or the way back up to lamp. Tam will get the boots and the hammer and can cross over using that hammer to East Death Mountain. We'll find Hype Cave later, and that'll just be fine.
Right, but the boots have to be here, though.
Yeah, if they're up GT instead, then the lamp is hard required. And that is a huge advantage for Orange. Orange very interestingly choosing to bomb the floor instead of just hook shot through the block like most players do.
But only finds the single arrow.
So that really suspicious Ice Palace Big Key we mentioned much earlier in the seed, it was trolling. Well, I think we have pretty thoroughly concluded that ice is not the answer. Orange doesn't know that yet. In Orange's mind, this last chest could be important, but we know it's not. I think climbing GT or Hera Basement have to be the answers. One or the other. And the bad news about that is that whichever of those is the answer, that lamp is hard required. It could be Left Mire if one of those has the last Mire small key, but that doesn't actually help Tam at all here. Finding that connector to get the lamp seems to be the only way to advance in the seed. Oh, look at that thing that's so easy to forget to do. Orange is using the Ganon portal.
Ooh.
You fight Ganon so rarely, and most of the time you do, it's at the very end of seeds. So actually remembering to take advantage of the various subtle world changes from killing Ganon can be pretty hard to do. It's good presence of mind to use it properly. And yeah, it looks like Orange is just going straight for the climb. I don't blame Orange for this play at all.
I don't either. And Tam is looks just like utterly confused, trying to figure out what did they miss.
Yeah. Tam has been working out of logic for a while and has known that the logic's been exhausted, but has just been doing everything possible out of logic, just like, you know, if I miss some trick to find the lamp, I can do without it. And Tam's just run out of options. Finding the logical route is the only remaining path. Now, I don't know how Tam's brain works, but if it's like how my brain works, the first thing Tam will do is run through every dungeon and just ask if there's any checks left behind. The conclusion will be no, and then you run through every sort of connector situation next and wonder if there are any you haven't taken, or any connector destinations you're still really looking for, and that should result in a yes.
Let's hope they figure it out soon.
Though, unless this GT climb is a red herring and it's just Hera basement, it feels likely that this is going to turn into an insurmountable lead for Orange. Because this seed is totally bottlenecked on this point, and it's really likely that almost all the remaining progression just kind of falls into their lap sequentially from here on out.
Yeah, it's got to.
And when you're at the execution level that both of these players are, large linear deficits are very hard to make up.
Okay, looks like Tam is onto something.
That is the correct flute, so Tam has probably realized the mistake. What Tam doesn't know is that the immediately next play upon acquiring that lamp needs to be Hera basement. That's Tam's out. Meanwhile, Orange is forgetting how to do this room without Fire Rod. You don't have to do it very often, but you did today. As per the logic of the GT climb, to clarify, the first two chests upstairs are in logic, the next two are not. But in practice, you can get all of them, and you're not going to grab two chests, say, have exhausted the logic and mirror out. That would be foolish. Well, that puts another check in logic.
And powder! It could be a Magic Bat!
Well, Magic Bat requires the last GT small key logically as well, but it'll make this more efficient whether this is immediately the next play or not.
Nope, there's the boots!
Okay, that's the answer. That unravels the seed. And yeah, it's really likely that continuing here leads to nothing, but there's just no way you possibly leave behind the last chest in Upper GT or Magic Bat after climbing all this way. And yeah, Tam has made it up to the summit of Dark Death Mountain. There's the lamp. Tam is basically a GT climb behind. So for those who are wondering what we need for go mode, we're actually pretty close. The main thing we need to know is where our last pendant is. Because to beat Mire, we need the Mire Big. To beat Turtle Rock, we need the Fire Rod. To beat Eastern, we need both the Big Key and to find the place. And yeah, I definitely like Tam's play to kill Mothula here. It's pretty likely to be a crystal you had to do anyway. And even if it's a pendant, then you effectively got every map as a drop. Well, that confirms all of Fire Rod, Mire Big, and Eastern Big are required. Skull is the last pendant.
And finally, it's hammer time!
You also, it's also a weird situation where you want to hunt for Eastern to confirm whether you need to look for Ether, but you don't really want to find Eastern because you can't beat Eastern at all right now.
That is true.
Like, personally, I would be beelining Swamp Palace, and it's really conveniently close to doing left side GT.
Yeah.
Like, the odds that one of those two places have at least one of your remaining progression items, likely all of your remaining progression items are in those two places, the odds are in your favor. And Tam is making the right play.
There we go.
GP. Tam will get the boots here. I expect Tam to immediately appreciate the significance of that find. I also like Orange going and taking care of business, killing Helmassar King here. Orange still doesn't know this is a crystal, but knows it's very likely.
Yep, confirming both of those are crystal with the pod and Turtle Rock.
And the routing is even relatively natural. You beat Pod, you beat Swamp, you mirror in front of GT, you finish off Ice Palace, and then you do left side GT. Orange just confirmed that TR and Ice are crystals, which makes that route feel a little better because you at least know you have to beat Ice.
Oops!
That is why you use the red cane and not the bow in that room. Fine, be a nonconformist, Orange. Use the red meringue. Justify picking that up from the catfish.
I gotta think, for Tam to basically not have any chance at this point, that Harris Small can still be useful, but I think that's about it. Or unless they can find Eastern Palace quite quickly.
I do like Tam's use of the cape there. Just good awareness of having an unusual item to just avoid an annoying situation.
Yes.
I do think Tam's climb was a little faster than Orange, especially in that torch room.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, we're gonna check the bat here.
Wait, why did Orange not check this after beating Aga 2?
I don't know, but there's a Turtle Rock Small.
Orange needed that, so that's good.
Yeah, I think I agree with our restreamer here that it just went. Orange just wanted to go straight for that hammer. They knew where it was. Finally got the item.
Looks like Orange's next play is just clearing out Ice Palace. I guess it makes sense. Orange is fully aware this is a crystal. So this is just mandatory business, has to be taken care of. With Icebreaker, it's honestly pretty linear straight to the boss anyway. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting decision. Do you do left side GT immediately after Ice because it's closer? Or do you make the extra walking into your, or do you add the extra walking into your route to go straight to Swamp Palace, which is really likely to be a crystal? We know it's a crystal. Orange knows it's probably a crystal, but maybe not.
I think for me, I'd probably do left side GT.
And happy 2-hour mark, we both have hammers.
Hooray! Oh,
Tam's not even going to do Ice first, just going straight for GT. Really, I think the only argument I would give against doing GT right away here is if Fire Rods and Swamp, you would really like to be able to do right side GT in one trip in.
Yeah, that's true.
But my whole wanting to find the Fire Rod is why I honestly would have done Swamp before either of these, which you could argue would be a mistake. It's probably a matter of opinion. Is Orange seriously going to sequence break right side here?
Looks like that way.
This is a very bold play when you're this close to go mode and one of the items for that go mode is Fire Rod. And Orange knows Fire Rod is required to beat the seed because Orange map checked and saw Turtle Rock as a crystal. So I think this is a very unusual play, but we'll see if it pays out.
It very well could with one of those big keys we're still missing.
Oh.
Ouch.
So this is a Japanese 1.0 version only. I don't know if you want to call it a glitch or a quirk. But Wall Masters can grab you for the entire animation you're falling into pits. If you don't remember that ever happened to you and you played this game as a kid, that's why. It doesn't happen in the US version.
Oh, there's our other key to Turtle Rock.
And yeah, that hover is possible, but honestly, hovering this gap is definitely harder than the bomb jump. Well, Tam just showed us left side GT was just junk. Orange is showing us the right side GT's no better. I think the boots were the only progression item in GT at all.
Yeah. And Orange heading for the left side. Oh, that's true. Powder could be considered also because you got that Turtle Rock off the bat.
Yeah, and we got another Turtle Rock small here in GT somewhere. It might have been 2 Turtle Rock smalls in here, I don't remember.
That's true.
But yeah, I think a lot of Crosskeys players are really accustomed to GT having a lot of value, and that's just not what we're looking at today.
No, it absolutely is not.
Kind of given the pattern of a lot of what we've seen, I would expect the 4th GT small key to be somewhere pretty bad.
Yeah, me too.
Tam was also able to take a quicker route through Ice Palace. Just overall better management of key resources to not have to go around and play with the crystal switch as much. So Tam has definitely made up some time after really getting stuck on that lamp location. Basically flipped it from being a GT climb behind to being a Helmisar kill behind.
Yeah,
maybe even less,
bad.
because it's still likely Orange will kill Mothula for nothing at some point.
Very well could.
We have 2 different people in the chat who have been commenting about on what Orange is doing, who both have the word Orange in their name. Is there like a people named Orange fan club?
I like Orange.
I just like don't know. Is this like some Link to the Past group based around the color orange that I have been completely unaware of up to this point in my life?
If it is, I'm joining you in that.
So Orange did just do a map check and learned that Skull is a pendant. That's pretty good information. Because that probably saves Orange a completely unnecessary boss kill. It maintains that Helvesaur kill lead.
And now both players in the swamp.
You gotta feel Swamp almost definitely has progression, right? I mean, how funny would it be if Hera somewhere? How funny would it be if Hera Basement was the answer all along?
Oh, I would laugh extremely hard.
Though we do also have a couple entrances opened with Hammer. We have some more Bonk entrances. We have Mimic and Spike Cave, always your favorite things to do with the Hammer after 2 hours of gameplay.
Yep. But even still, though, with that, I'd be maybe prioritizing maybe a little bit more on the entrances, just because Eastern Palace has yet to be found.
Yeah, though I would just be so hesitant to rush to find Eastern Palace.
Right, without the big.
Big.
That is true. I'll give that one.
But then again, maybe it's not even that unappealing if you really come up empty out of Swamp. Because you come up empty out of Swamp, and the possibilities are just narrow after this.
That's true. But hey, there's that mirror shield.
Remember what they say, don't ask what the mirror shield can do for you, ask what you can do for the mirror shield. Mostly because the mirror shield isn't going to do anything for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it blocks lasers, other than BMOS lasers for some reason. I always really wondered as a kid, and I still wonder as an adult while I'm at it, why doesn't the mirror shield block lasers from BMOS in this game?
Because the game had us find out some way to be rude no matter what we did.
I actually think it does block BMOS lasers in every other Zelda game too. It's just this one it doesn't. Hooray! The last Mire small key. Now you can go back to left side Mire, which you really don't want to do without Mire big key. And I mean, unless Argus drops something spicy, this is another bust.
I know. What's with these dungeons being bait?
Sometimes seeds are all about the give and take. Other times they don't really involve the give at all. And this is one of those cases.
You just take and take and take.
I'm going to enjoy when we basically last location our last progression item and we are still going to have to do Silverless Ganon.
So, Swamp is a complete bust.
So yeah, at this point you're decision is, do you hunt Eastern to partially clear it? Do you go back for Mire left? Or do you go back for Hera Basement? Or do you do Mimic and Spike Cave?
Those don't sound like fun options.
I mean, knowing me, I would check Mimic Cave immediately and then proceed to put off Spike Cave until it's my last location. But I don't know if these two players have that same problem I do.
Oh,
well,
and there's
Orange
Eastern.
just found Eastern, right very conveniently in the Village of Outcasts. Tam is making the incredibly sensible decision to kill Helmasaur King. Like, honestly, from Tam's perspective, this is a no-brainer to do this right now. We know it's not progression, but, like...
It's gotta happen.
Yeah, there's no reason not to do this.
Okay, there's the Mire Big Key.
That really helps advance you.
And that's all we're doing.
Personally, I would have continued and gotten the other chest. The chest in the vanilla, I think it's Compass chest on the right and then mirrored. But that mirror is fine.
Alright, let's go finish Mire off.
Yeah, this is 4 in-logic checks, any of which could be the Eastern Big Key, which would make Orange feel like an absolute genius, or the Fire Rod, which would make him feel like less of a genius, but still relieved because it's required.
Yeah, either one of them. Well, there's the either.
You're not sad to see that, because now it's a guarantee every entrance in the world is accessible.
Yup.
At least every relevant entrance. You can't get in the GT entrance, but the GT entrance is also confirmed dead this seed. I don't think we've seen the library. There's probably at least one single item cave left otherwise. I haven't really been keeping count. Oh yeah, there's always the Turtle Rock Big Chest entrance to find. That could be important.
Oh, that could be. Alright, there's the library with a piece of heart.
Made me feel smart I was right that we hadn't seen that, but it ended up being irrelevant anyway.
There's the bomb shop.
was a pretty nice little use of the red boomerang by Orange there.
Yeah, it was. Don't normally see that.
Yeah, the super bomb situation, that's actually asymmetric knowledge, I believe. Tam has seen the connector that comes out of the crack in the pyramid, but I do not believe Orange has.
No,
like,
yeah.
You're going to last location returning the super bomb. So that's probably not super relevant.
Yeah, Tam's continuing on in Eastern Palace.
Orange spending every last arrow in his quiver.
Never mind, though.
Yeah, now here's Orange clearing out Spike Cave. Check I never like to make. Worst check in the game.
And all for bombs.
And there's the save and quit, erasing that portal.
Now here's something I thought of that could be very, very rude. We know where the Thieves Town small key is. What if Fire Rod's in that big key chest?
We're really low on checks. Every remaining check has to be considered very plausibly required. Like, does Orange go back and just finish the remaining checks in Eastern Palace? Do Hera Basement? Like, you're really just limited at this point. I think the only entrance with checks remaining in it is the Turtle Rock Big Chest, which is a glorified single entrance cave.
Yeah, pretty much.
I do know Thieves' Big Chest would be my absolute last location, just because I wouldn't want to go back for the Bombos Monolith, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, Orange is about to find the library and discover another piece of heart. I suspect that even though he's on team pick up freestanding pieces of heart, he's going to leave that one behind.
Yeah, red mail, 17 hearts.
You're just, both players are like 100% just watching the Discord for a dot done. And I would point out, the longer this drags on, the closer and closer it gets. Like, Tam is now down from only down a second half of Meyer. We just were informed by Orange what the red crystals are, if anyone cares.
Okay, now here's an entrance we haven't seen, or never mind. Oh yeah, they are going to check the entrance.
Yeah, the only entrance remaining in the world that could possibly be important that we as viewers haven't seen after this is the Turtle Rock entrance.
And there it is. But it's not what we want.
Yeah, I don't know that we have any entrances with caves or any caves with items in them remaining, but I haven't kept perfect count. Maybe there is one more and it's in the TR entrance. But you gotta feel a lot better about Hera Basement and the remaining chest in Eastern before that.
Yeah.
And Thieves Town was on West Dark Death Mountain, right?
Yes. No, Eastern. Eastern Dark Death Mountain.
That's what I meant, but words were hard for me. But,
words are hard.
Either way, the route's kind of obvious, I think. Hera Basement, the remaining checks in Eastern, and if still nothing, you pick up the Thieves Town small key, check the Turtle Rock entrance, and then jump down. And I 100% agree with Orange about Hera Basement here. Like, this is the time. Before you go back into Eastern, which you've already left. Like, if this is Eastern Big Key, it saves you a lot of time. Your 2 items from Go Mode, your odds of being able to skip this are pretty low at this point.
And there's the fire rod.
Well, now you definitely stick to the screw Eastern Palace line of thinking and rush off to kill Trinex.
Yup.
And killing Trinex, very conveniently, puts you right in position to do the right side of Turtle Rock.
Alright, time to kill Trinex.
Orange, of course, has shown himself to be a pretty high execution player, but even a pretty low execution player I don't think would fear Trinex very much with half magic, 17 hearts, red mail, and gold sword.
Yeah, no.
That is a clean 0 cycle.
Yes, it is.
Trinex didn't even turn up at the wall. You will not see a better Trinex fight than that.
Oh look, and it's the key we need.
That is 100% GG. There's just no way Tam can catch up, barring like a multi-Ganon fall catastrophe, which at this level is basically not going to happen. And yeah, Tam's going to get on the game-finishing path here, but he's just too far behind in linear progression. But this was quite the seed.
Good heavens, yeah, it was.
I found it particularly interesting how for most of the race, Tam was just a little bit more thorough than Orange, and Orange was just a little bit ahead in making very similar routing decisions just consistently. But then we just got to this nasty last location for the lamp that Orange just disentangled a little faster, and then they kept up their similar decision-making pattern right to the end.
Yeah, it's true. It was an entire find the lamp.
Of course, it is worth noting this fire rod will make Tam think of right side GT, but surely Tam will kill Trinex first and then know the rest of the questions are relevant. Oh man, Orange not even opening the chest he literally hookshotted to. Imagine if silver arrows are in that chest.
I would laugh hard.
I mean, there's so few places remaining for silvers, honestly, especially given that we know they're not in right side GT. Like, your odds are actually pretty good they're in that chest.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we're keeping track correctly, Ganon will tell us where silvers are. He will have, well, we might find silvers from Armos Knights, making it academic. He will have 3 opportunities to say they're in Eastern Palace. He'll have 1 opportunity to say Thieves Town. And he'll have 2 opportunities to say Turtle Rock. Is that all he can tell us?
I think you're right. Oh, desert.
Oh yeah,
It
if
could
he
be,
tells us with the Elder, then it's behind Green Pendant. And he could tell us it's with Landmalus, in which case he drops it. Or he could tell us, well, he won't tell us anything.
Armos could just drop it right over there.
Oh, look at that! Orange has exactly 4 arrows left. Calculated. We actually never found Desert Big Key. That's interesting for how little was left in this scene.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, here's Ganon.
Yeah, this is going to be about a 5-minute win for Orange, assuming all the remaining content for both players goes about like you'd expect. Which, given how incredibly over-equipped both players are, you wouldn't expect too much to go wrong for either. Oh man, look at Orange not going for what looked like a triple setup just because he knew he couldn't waste an arrow.
Haha. Yes, get those GGs in chat.
And if you told me before this race started that these two 3-in-1 players were going to have the winner with a time of 2:31.57, I'd tell you, man, they'd have to last location everything. And well, they did.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, Orange will be joining us in a moment. Tam will not, so just give us a moment till Orange joins in.
And it looks like we are joined by Orange. GG's, Orange. It was quite a race to behold.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm still shaking a little. I didn't think I'd actually win that.
So, I'm going to guess the moment you thought I'm doomed was actually the moment that put you way ahead. When you finally found your way to that lamp, was that not the moment you just felt crushed?
A little bit. Because I knew at the very least that lamp was going to make the Ida climb doable. And I was like, okay, well, I can at least get this out of the way so that if I need to go to GT later, I have a faster way over there. And it turned out that that lamp was absolutely required. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, the interesting thing about it is you found that lamp actually considerably before Tam, and that was really what put you ahead. Tam did a lot of stuff out of logic. Like, he cleared Castle Tower with no lamp or fire rod. They cleared Castle Tower without lamp or fire rod. It wasn't really a problem at all. Very clean. Check the dark connector, you didn't. But all of it didn't pay off. The lamp being hard required was just your path forward.
Yeah, because ultimately that lamp was locking, well, your boots on the top of GT and your fire rod in the Hera basement, which I was committing to last locating. But after I finally found Eastern, I got that Meyer big key. I was like, no, I think the Eastern big key is going to be in Meyer. I'm getting out of here. So I made that decision to nope out, go to Meyer, find nothing in there. So I was like, all right, I'll make one last ditch effort at Hera basement, and if something's not there, then I'm just gonna have to dip Eastern again. Fire Rod ends up being in there. I'm like, okay, I'm killing Trinex, and if he doesn't have EP bait, I'll just go back in and do those front two checks.
Yeah, and of course, we were all kind of laughing about you not checking the chest you literally hookshotted to an Eastern when there were like under 10 checks left in the game. Like, man, silvers could be in there.
I was perfectly content with doing silverless because, let's face it, I wasn't going to have much arrows after Eastern anyway. I needed to get some for the Armos Knights fight, but I wasn't planning on stocking up on arrows for Ganon in case silvers show up, and lo and behold, silvers were on the Armos Knights, and I had exactly 4 arrows.
Well, we all know you were just calculating for that whole possibility, and you were so confident Armos Knights would be the ones to drop them. That's why you didn't check the chest you literally rubbed across the front of it.
No, the thing, I was just hightailing it to the end because I saw the Eastern Palace big key on Trinex, get that Crystal Fanfare. I checked the room. Tam is still not done. I was like, okay, I might actually have a chance because of that fire rod. So my plan was to just abandon everything and just hightail it to Ganon.
The kind of interesting thing that came up as well is after the lamp showed up, and we concluded that Ice Palace with the Bombos that was logically behind lamp wasn't the answer, then the big question was GT Climb or Hera Basement with it. You both chose GT Climb, which was required, it had the boots, but Hera Basement was also required. It would have been very interesting if either of you had made the other decision.
I had committed to not doing the Hera basement before because I found Hera with the Hera big key, so I was like, okay, great, I'll just clear this and then say Hera basement doesn't exist. Then later in the seed, when I was running out of checks, still multiple items from Go Mode, I was like, I have to bring Hera basement back into existence. And I was really down there looking for Eastern Big, not Fire Rod.
The really bad spot we were thinking about was Thieves Big, which, like, it's totally understandable the way that got orphaned, but that would have been a slow check.
My line of thinking was that the real purpose of that Thieves Town small key was to put a hammerless blind into logic, so I was like, okay, I don't care about the big chest.
Yeah, it's just, you always gotta when you're down to, single digits numbers of checks in the world, no matter how bad they are, you got to start taking every check seriously.
The thing about this seed, though, is you see that hammer very early, and you're like, okay, great, that means the boots are going to be early, right? Right?
Yeah, I think so.
No, it's in the pre-Moldorm chest.
My favorite part about that is the last GT small key was logically behind the hammer, and you needed the GT small key in the climb to put the next chest in the climb into logic.
And then I realized, wait, I still need a TR small. I burned one going to the front.
Yeah. You ended up having all of them before you were done, of course.
Yeah, that's actually a relief.
I mean, this was basically a full clear seed. Like, if either of you had checked the castle for connectors the first time you were there, that player certainly would have won by a lot. But given that you both made the decision to fade that, and the castle is in just such an inconvenient to return to location, it basically guaranteed a mutual full clear.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of checking connectors, especially when I can't easily get back over there. Because for a long time, my only options for Dark World access was the mids or deleting the Paradox Cave block and bomb jumping over to east side.
Yeah, at that point you just would have been praying not to get spit out of like Skullback or GT. And, I mean, you could do it, but I understand not wanting to, because it feels real bad when you get spit out of Skull Back after you've already seen Troll Woods and you don't have the Skull Big Key yet, and you just lost everything.
In hindsight, it wouldn't have been that bad to check the connectors, but... No, what am I saying? It would have been horrible to get back there unless you knew in advance the Paradox connectors.
And of course, you had that sword on the island, just further drawing you not to do it. It was your master sword. You wanted it, right?
Yeah, I don't see a world in which you pick checking connectors over a guaranteed mastered sword.
Yeah, and after that, I mean, because it's so bad to return to, you gotta check basically everything else before going back. And then the last location, Lamp, isn't really that great because its options aren't wonderful. And the routing through the seed's nearly inevitable, assuming reasonable decisions by all parties.
Yeah, and although there were some checks that were tempting, like doing the second chest of Agate Tower, I figured my best bet to find progression faster was to just stay in logic as much as possible. Because let's face it, I highly doubt there was going to be any sort of progression whatsoever in the second chest of Agate Tower. Turns out it kind of was, but only if you didn't do Hera Basement. I mean, I didn't think I was going to get Fire Rod or Boots in there, so I figured if I stayed in logic, I was going to get either Boots or a Fire Source. I would have been willing to do a Dark Adit climb if Fire Rod popped up, because that would have just given me some thinking time. But it turned out last locating the lamp, based on your accounts, actually helped me more than hurt me.
Yeah, it was actually unfortunate. I think Tam forgot about the castle connectors. There was a pretty long screen stare on that side. Whereas I guess you never forgot the castle connectors, you just didn't want to do them.
No, actually, I forgot about the castle connectors. And then I realized, oh wait, I never did the castle connectors while I was doing GT Tile Room, because the thought that I forgot that GT Tile Room existed came before I realized, oh wait, I never did the Hyrule Castle connectors.
Yeah, I was wondering about that at the time when you checked 2 checks in GT and immediately left. Like, I was
forgot
wondering if
trial
you were
room.
gambling or you just plain forgot.
I plain forgot.
But yeah, it was a fun tour through every last nook, cranny, and corner of Hyrule. But GG's, Orange, you are now 4-1. How do you feel about coming off to such a strong start in this tournament?
I feel like I'm doing much better than last year's Crosskeys tourney, and one of my goals for this was to make a run. I wanted to do better than last year, in which I had an unfortunate exit in round 2.
Well, I would say this to anyone at 4-1 or better at this point. You're probably at least even money to make brackets now, because you have to win at least 2 of the 3 of your remaining games to stay in contention, and if you win all of them, then you avoid the play-in completely.
I just got to keep this pace up, and the Swiss rounds are just getting harder and harder as I'm getting more and more difficult opponents.
It is the nature of Swiss. At 4-1, you're gonna get a tough draw. Honestly, even at 3-2, I wouldn't expect Tam to get an easy opponent either.
Oh, 3-2 is going to be a bloodbath. So is 4-1.
Yeah, speaking of 4-1, tomorrow at 6 p.m., we have a restream for Link to the Past Randomizer Crosskeys tournament match between Dataplet and Hitsuyon. They're both at 4-0 right now, so Orange could end up facing the loser of that match. And I wouldn't want to face either of them.
Could you repeat the first name, please?
Dataplet.
The other one. That was number
Hitsuyon.
2.
Yeah, Dataplet versus Hitsuyon.
Oh, I wouldn't want to face either of them. They're scary good.
I mean, you're not going to get an opponent at 4-1 and you say, oh, that guy, yeah, that guy's free. That's not the world
Let's
you're
just
living in.
go.
Well, nothing to do now but wait and see what fate has in store for me.
Indeed. So, we good to wrap up?
Yeah,
I'm
I
good.
think that pretty much covers it. GG's
Alright.
again on your win, Orange. It was quite a compelling race. The scene put up
Absolutely.
the sort of resistance you would expect from a high-level race.
Alright. And with that, indeed, thank you, Orange and Tam. That was an awesome race to watch. Thank you to our commentators, Amazing Ampharos and Tyler W. And thank you to our trackers, Professor Pixie and Toffile. Coming up on ZSR tomorrow, as mentioned, at 6 p.m., we have the Crosskeys match between Dataplet and Hitsuyon. And at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have another Crosskeys match between Kyra and the Boulder 300. So those will both be fun to watch. Also on ZSR tomorrow, at 8:30 p.m., we have a Zelda 2 randomizer tournament match between Cross Product and JJ Schmidt. And at 9 p.m., this is kind of hype, we have a Wind Waker Randomizer Season 4 tournament match. It's the Winners Bracket Finals, Game 1, between Roofers ZFG and Original Elijah. So plenty of content on ZSR tomorrow. Hope you all find something to watch, and have a wonderful rest of your night.